Hello, we're going to do a quick review on this AutoPhix OBD2 scanner for BMW. This is model ES910. Let's look at really quick at the tool setup. If you use the arrows right here to go over, you press enter. You can change the language, and that's basically all there is available under tool setup. To use the scanner, all you need to do is let's go over and select BMW. And here we just have to select the BMW again. And here is a different chassis. Now this scanner does work with most BMWs 2003 and newer. It's able to get into multiple control units, read clear codes, and stream some data. We're going to look at those in a minute. Let's look at all these chassis really quick, because so that you can know like if this will work with your car. The thing about this scanner, there's not a whole lot of documentation online, so you just don't know what it can and cannot do. So let's look at the modal coverage really quick. Okay, so in this case we're just gonna go to 5 series. We have an E60 here, and you have basics functions, special functions, and erase all system faults. Now this scanner can get into or read control units up to 72 BMW control units, and to do that you'll go under basic functions, press enter, and here you have two options: system scan, where it will go through the whole system and see what control units are installed on this specific BMW that you're connected to. So your BMW is going to have, let's say, it's going to have 20 or 30 control units that this scanner can read codes from. It's not going to have all possible control units that BMW could have. This will take a few minutes. As it scans the car, it also makes a clicking noise, which it's unusual for OBD2 scanner, but it does communicate with BMW. And let's give it a minute. So after about 3 or 4 minutes, the scanner is back on with all the control units where that it was able to find on this BMW E60. As you can see down here, it says 32, but if you remember earlier, it said about 74 control units, and these are the only control units that are on this BMW. Here we're gonna look really quick at how you can read codes, clear codes, and how you can stream some live data. So here we look at car access system. If you press enter, here you can see the second option here is read fault codes. Press enter. You can scroll up and down here with these arrows. Press exit. You can come in here and erase them. And then the last option is read or data stream. So press enter here, and then what you can do is you just select one of the options, go to key, for example, press enter, and you need to check these, whichever one you want to see the values for. What you can do is go to the top option, press enter, and to stream the data you press exit. It's a little bit counterintuitive, but that's how it works. And you press exit again and you can get out of this menu. Do that a couple of times. We're gonna look at the next one is the engine electronics. Press enter. Let's read the fault codes, and we have about 8. Let's do exit again, and you can come and erase them. We won't do that right now. Read data stream, and here you can see different systems. Let's, for example, let's go to operation values, and here there's about 18 different values that you can select and look at them individually, but you can also do all. Press exit, and then you just kind of can look through these values. Scroll up and down with the arrows, and these values will change as you know, if you press on the gas, for example, if the temperature goes up, whatever you're looking at, these values would change live. Let's go back, press exit here, exit again. We're not going to look at all of that. Exit this engine electronics, and then you can let's look at stability control unit. Let's read some codes here. Here you can see brake pad wear, we have the light on, and also you can stream sensor. Like, you can look at the speed sensor values live. We're stopped right now, so they're all going to be zeros, but if you start driving they'll change. DSC sensors, steering angle sensor, you can look at that. It will change the steering wheel. Let's go back. Anyway, there's more things that you can look in there. There's a crash safety module. So really quick, you get the idea how these control systems, how you can read, how you can clear the codes, and look at some live sensor data. One thing that we also need to do is let's look at for example, which control units were available on this BMW, and we're just going to scroll through them really quick. But let's say, for example, you have the airbag light on, or let's say you have a problem with ABS, and instead of just going to system scan and then pressing enter and waiting like 4 minutes for it to scan the whole car, you just want to go to DSC unit right away. So go to manual select, press enter, and then right here we have the 72 all available all available control units on the BMWs. So you can just go and select the one you need, press DSC, and then you can just go read fault codes, erase them, erase fault codes, yes or no, or look at live data. So really quick, we're just gonna scroll through all these control units really quick so you can get the idea what's available. So if you went to manual select and you try to access a control unit that the vehicle doesn't have, you're gonna get an error that says scanner is not able to communicate with that particular control unit. Here it is, or you just get a communication error. So just because on this BMW we don't have a video module. So let's just go through the whole list really quick. One last thing that we need to look at is special functions. Here you can reset different control units. Here you can reset, for example, the CBC, the monitor, so your wear and tear items and your fluids. You can reset them. Or you can correct the values or delete all the adaptation values. We're gonna look at most importantly battery registration. So down here under special functions you have battery management. If you press enter, you can go to battery functions. And one problem that we're having in this case is that you just can't complete the battery registration. Now when you replace the battery, there's two things you need to keep in mind. First, if you're changing the battery type from, for example, AGM to lead acid, you need to code it on the engine electronics unit, control unit, that you change the battery type. And also if you change the capacity of the battery, or if you just don't install the exact same battery, you need to code it. You need to tell the BMW what specs changed. Now if you are going to install the same exact battery, all you need to do is the battery registration that just clears the history of the old battery. And this is what we should be able to do right here. And there is a communication error for some reason that we just can't get through. The car do need does need to be stopped and not running, but the key is in the ignition and the ignition is on. If you go under motor electronics, if you press enter here, there's also battery registration here or replacement, and here we have a couple of options like we talked earlier. Display history of battery replacement and register battery replacement, and just go to option 2. This looks like almost the same, but it's slightly different options here. And the first choice is if you are installing a battery with the same capacity. Like we said earlier, if we just don't change anything, the same capacity, the same battery type, you just go and hit enter and it says successful. But if you do change the battery type, let's go hit OK here so we can get out. If you'd select number 2, and then you select number 2 again, and then here is where it says that if you change the battery with higher capacity, you need to code it accordingly. Perform the retrofit and CIP, and we press arrow, and we press arrow again, enter battery replacement, and just go back to the same screen, and it doesn't allow you to change the battery capacity. Right here, it should have had an option before coming to this screen. It should have had an option where you should select the battery type, AGM, or just lead acid, or the capacity, like 90 amp hours or whatever capacity you're installing. So this is just a drawback right here. And other than that, there's a few other special functions like the steering angle sensor that you can just calibrate, and there's electronic parking brake, which we don't have it on this vehicle. So overall, for the price that you usually can get this scanner online, it's definitely a lot better than buying a generic OBD2 scanner or a Elm 327 and using it with Torque app. It can do a lot more than that. But it does have some drawbacks, like especially the battery registration. It's a disappointment that it's not working. Other than that, it seems like it can scan almost every system on the BMW, or most of them at least. And one last thing is, you can do erase all system faults and codes. So if you just didn't want to bother with just going through all the control units and erasing codes one by one, you can just hit enter and it'll erase all of them. Thanks for watching.